Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'm going to be reviewing almost 100 different Bionicle MOCs, and for those that do not know, Project Manui Rising, the creators behind Bionicle Ignition 3, held a contest for an Av-Matoran. So you could have made an Av-Matoran to enter the contest, and the winner gets a voice cameo and some other goodies as well. Now the contest is closed, but do not worry because they're going to have another one very, very soon. And we have a lot to get through, so I'm just going to start. But basically, I'm not going to be going too deep into like a criticism mode. I mean, like, everyone has their own different ways of making MOCs. I mean, I'll always give bonus points to people that can make them IRL, in real life, for those that don't speak Lat. And that's coming from someone that almost exclusively uses Bricklink Studio. But I mean, everyone did a fantastic job here. I don't think there's a bad MOC or anything like that. I really like these contests because they urge people to experiment and to get out of their shell and to think more creatively. Because for me, with my entry, I don't usually make MOCs from 2008 Bionicle too much, so this was interesting for me, and I'm really happy that I did it. I learned a lot from my own entry, and I really like a lot of these other entries as well. So with that all out of the way, we are going to start. So this is just the example. We're not going to be reading over the bios specifically because we're just judging things just based on a build. I'm going to tell y'all what I like and things that I think to maybe improve on, or nothing like that. Like, there's nothing special about me as a MOC maker. Like, I'm not a professional MOC maker. I'm not a perfect MOC maker. I'm just going over my opinion and just kind of like really looking at like what everyone else has made here. So here's the example. You got Solek, of course, and then the little bio, and then here's the build. So the very first one is Akamu by BIONICLE. I'm assuming that's your name. So right away we got some Av-Matoran limbs here. These came from Takanuva 2010, and I like that this is a whole new custom torso here. I think that's very, very good, and I like that this one went with the white and gold because those are the true colors of the Av-Matoran. In case you don't know any of the Bionicle lore, the Av-Matoran are Matoran of Light, and they disguise themselves wearing different colors. So you might think that they're, if they're green, you might think they're Toa, or not Toa. You might think that they are a Matoran of Air. You might think that they're a Matoran of Fire, Matoran, Light Matoran. But yeah, like, there's not a whole lot of entries that use the white and gold, so I really respect this MOC for doing that. They actually make use of the Av-Matoran head, which is quite good. Because when you're making an Av-Matoran MOC, in my opinion, you definitely want to have some elements that were from like the original set. Otherwise, there's not really a whole point, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, though. There's some of these builds that are on this list that totally go off that, and they do some really, really cool stuff. So again, just me yapping. Got some Hero Factory feet here, and I like this. I think in terms of potential improvements, I would maybe work on the leg connection here. I would try to, I don't know if it would end up too tall, but I would try to add ball joints where these sockets are, or like right below, maybe like right here. Add an axle right here and add some balls, and then have your legs connect through that. It's going to make posing the figure a lot easier. And yeah, other than that, I like the creativity here. You know, you're making use of a lot of different parts. Clearly, you're making it from your parts bin, so big respect. And yeah, I like the little accessories that he has. Talking to the staff, and you got Robo Rider head. That's cool. Next one is by Fries 101 Reviews. We've had him on the podcast. And yeah, he's using a Glatorian head. I forgot which Glatorian this one is. Some Hero Factory legs here. He's making use of that Av-Matoran body. Definitely making use of all aspects from Bionicle, and I believe this tube or this hose is from Hero Factory as well. But I like this guy's armor. I like the tube going through the mouth here. My only suggestion would have been to maybe try to make the legs posable. Just because, like, I mean, like, you don't have to. You don't have to at all. Because the original Av-Matoran can't actually bend their limbs, so you don't have to do this. But I think to get the best use out of this build and to kind of keep the color scheme more tight and consistent, I would probably use shorter limbs here and then use the Metru knee parts and just put them like right there, and or the upper leg armor, whatever you want to call it. Then try to like figure something out here, maybe use some Clitorian parts or something like that. But yeah, no, this is overall very cool. I almost clicked on a profile. All right, we got Vaituru. Vaituru is a big fan of the channel. And I believe, yeah, this is the South Mock as an Av-Matoran here. So I think this is the first one that makes use of CCBS. I might be mistaken. No, I don't think so, yeah. So this is the first mock that makes use of CCBS, which I think CCBS actually does work with the Av-Matoran quite well. Especially with the armor that you can add on. You can kind of mimic the Mimic. You can kind of mimic the 2008 limbs with the CCBS shells. I think that's a perfectly fine method. I know a lot of people don't like CCBS with Bionicle. For me, less is more. If you're making it a Bionicle like G1 specific mock, but honestly, a mock can look however you want. I mean, don't listen to anybody that says, oh, this looks stupid. No, just make what the fuck you want. Just do that. But yeah, I like the tire technique. That's a classic old Bionicle technique here. My only note, I would love to see those limbs be more posable. I got some techniques that you can steal from the channel if you haven't seen those already. But yeah, no, overall very cute, consistent color scheme. And yeah, the red eye stock is interesting. I like that. All right, next up we got Alex. This is the host from Bonk Spot podcast, and he's made use of some Hero Factory beat pieces right here. I think these are really great for like straight up droid kind of mocks or something. Like almost like, I don't know, I can almost picture the Vaki using feet like this. These would actually make really cool battle droid heads here. I don't know if this comes in tan, probably doesn't, but I'd love to see someone make a battle droid head with this, like an off-colored one. That would be really, really cool. Anyway, to get back to the build itself, this one uses the Takanuva stars technique with the armor here. I like that they straight up use the set template, and you filled in some tubing here. That's kind of cool. You got some jets at the feet as well. And I believe this Borak shield is used to kind of like display steam coming out. But yeah, great use of Technic pieces right here. Because I'm pretty sure... No, okay, you can't move those, but they still look cool anyway. And I like the tubing that connects the Onua saw. They're not technically saws, but you know, like they look like saws. They're treads technically, but it looks like a chainsaw. I like that it connects to the back here. I think that's pretty cool. That's some classic 2009 style Bionicle for you. And his name was Chunga, in case if I didn't say that. Okay, I can't see who made this because Discord has stream mode activated on me, so I'm sorry I can't read your username. That's very sad. I feel like it's gonna become a trend very, very soon. But this mock is named Akalia. And this makes use of the G2 head and mask for the Akaku. And I think this works well with 2008 style mocks because that G2 head, it would be a fantastic head if you just had that axle piece, the axle hole right in the middle, like where the mouth is, or a stud connector or something, because it is 100% incompatible with every single other Bionicle mask that's not from G2. No Hero Factory, nothing. Can't do anything with that. And it's a real shame because those heads would be perfect for the Av-Matoran, because the Av-Matoran just had like the one big translucent head. But yeah, they make use of the dual molding parts. Like it's 2 separate pieces for the head. You have the metallic head and then you have the trans eye stock, which is cool. So I think that's a good use here. And the Akaku from G2 looks the most like its G1 counterpart, so I think it blends in pretty well here. You're gonna stir up some controversy with the CCBS with G1 parts, but I think it works here. I think that's fine. You got the Motoro blade there and all that. Only note that I would say that you should think about for the future is filling in some more gaps. Now, that being said, some MOCs go a little bit overkill with the gap filling. You gotta find a good balance between it. And I think filling some of the gaps just make the MOC look more complete, more detailed, especially if it blends in. If it sticks out too much, then it's a little bit extra, but if it blends into the build, then those are things that I kind of like. And you also might want to be careful here with these parts clashing together. You can end up scraping both of them. So I would just be careful with that. I would maybe flip one like list to like the front or something like that, or swap this out for a smaller one maybe. But yeah, no, this one's very cool. Very epic. We got Master of Nothing with Doggus. Bogus with a D. Thank you. And I like that this one looks like he just made it straight from his bin. That's awesome. It makes use of that Hordika torso, which worked very well on the Marinui Matoran. The Marinui Matoran. Yeah, it is Marinui. I was almost like questioning myself for a minute. I like those Matoran. I think you can probably say that they are technically the best Matoran sets. They're definitely right up there. They kind of come with it all, so I like the inspirations from that. You got the staff piece here, a very Noric-like staff. And then you have the shield here that's very Agori-like. That's pretty cool. Trying to find a better picture of the shield. Yeah. My note would just be like maybe connect list to lat, because it looks like it's 2 separate connections. So that's really what I would say there. But this looks cool. I like him. I like the color scheme. The black and silver always works. And I like the use of the tan here instead of just using blue pins. So if you don't have black pins, tan pins look a little bit better in my opinion. Unless if it's like a blue MOC, obviously. But yeah, I like the little photo here of him with the plant. That's pretty cool. All right, next up we got Wuhao. I believe that's how you say it. And this MOC reminds me a lot of the MOCs that you would see around 2009 or around 2010 online. It looks a lot like a Voya Nui Karzani Matoran. And I mean that as a compliment because it looks fucking cool. And I love how this is completely made out of spare parts. But yeah, no. It's interesting with the Av-Matoran because you can technically make the color scheme whatever you want. So I'm not going to say that these colors don't work for that. But again, I would go back to like maximizing posability for sure. You don't have to have perfect posing for a MOC. You don't need that. Whatever. All my notes, you can take them or leave them. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying it how it comes into my mind. But I like this guy. I fuck with this little guy. He's pretty cool. Dom Vacus. And we got his Av-Matoran MOC right here. His name is Lat. And it looks a lot more like an Agori. I will say that right away. I think this looks a lot more like an Agorian than an Av-Matoran, but the Agori as sets are better than Av-Matoran than sets because they got some more color and some more gear. But This has a really consistent color scheme, actually, now that I really look at it. I think the pearl dark gray blends in well with the lighter pearls and the regular grays. I think this is all good, and the neon orange looks really, really good. That's a good highlighting color. But yeah, my real note is that it just doesn't quite look like an Av-Matoran. Just because of like the mask / the head. Maybe like a Hydraxon mask, or just something that looks a little bit more Matoran universe would have fit this a little bit more, but on its own, like this is fucking cool. I really like how you utilize the chains to fill in the gaps without going overkill, and it wraps around his neck. That's awesome. No, this is a cool one. You got some more posing here, and yeah, like CCBS is great for posability, so there's that as well. Next up we got Radia, and I like that this one is just straight up like it could have been a set. Like I could see the Lego group easily releasing this one. And unlike the other Av-Matoran, I think some of the Kra / Shadow Matoran useless, but this one uses all 4 of the same limbs in terms of like the bendable parts, because Select does have the same limbs on every single aspect of him, but I think this works well. I like the medium blue. It goes well with the trans blue mask here. But yeah, that green face, it was a good shout for sure. It's making use of those metal blade pieces, and I think they work. I think they work pretty well. One note, I maybe would have chose maybe some Toe of Water blades or something like that. But I mean, these still work very, very well. So that's my only like note. Yeah, it's very accurate to like the sets here, and she would blend in, or she or he. Yeah, she. Okay, yeah, she would blend in quite well with the ignition film. And then we got this guy here, Avosa by Mutran Apologist. This one looks a lot like Dekar, and that's pretty interesting because you can see right here, I think this is the first one that we've looked at that has completely new pieces that don't exist. And what I will say that I like about these pieces is that you can actually 3D print these and use them from the looks of it, because it doesn't use any 3D printed ball joints. I think that's like a huge plus, because if you 3D print sockets or ball joints, you're gonna scratch up your set here. As I say that, I see that he's using some custom sockets for here. So if you do make this physically, gotta be a little bit careful about that. These also don't connect to the jetpack, so again, just gotta be aware. But I like the color scheme. I like the trans headstock. I wish this was a real thing. I'm sure some custom guy made it already. I wish this came in black as well. These actually do exist, but this is a cute little guy. You can get some good posability out of him. Oh, this is a custom torso as well. That's kind of cool. I like these custom pieces, and this is coming from someone that uses custom pieces a lot, but I would like to see what this creator would have done with some more vanilla BIONICLE MOCs, because you gotta be very, very careful when you use custom pieces, because if they don't blend in well, then they stick out, and then it looks like this looks a little bit different. But again, I like how this looks here. I like how everything's consistent, and the black is well distributed here. But yeah, my advice is just to, like, I don't see why you couldn't make this MOC without G1 or even G2 pieces or Hero Factory pieces. I think you could have easily made this with those other ones, but this is still good. It looks cool. That's the most important part, is that it looks fucking cool. Next up, we got, this guy doesn't have a name, but this guy does have a name. MMN3 Star Wars. I don't know. But anyway. Yeah, this literally just looks like Matoro, but I mean, that works. That's cool. You got the medium blue, which is good. Matoro had sand blue, so it sticks out a little bit. I don't believe there's ever a medium blue torso, but that's too bad. That would have worked really, really well here. I probably would have used a white torso instead. I know that would have made the armor blend in a little bit more, but I think that would have been fine. Interesting how you put the Pakaris on the legs here for armor, and see the back. And you got some gap filling here. That's cool as well. And I didn't even realize you had a Mata hand here. That's pretty cool. And you're using the disc launcher as a jetpack. That's some classic good parts usage here, because a lot of people forget that's a jetpack as well. I only just found that out like a few years back when I started really like read a lot of the stuff. So yeah, that's funny. All right, we got Gecko Greavesy with Envar. And Envar has some pretty cool colors. You got the dark teal, I believe it's called. It's basically turquoise. We'll call it turquoise, less of a mouthful. And some Keat orange, I believe, limbs and armor here. I like the use of system here as well. But yeah, it's interesting when people make Av-Matoran with 01 Kanohi. Like, there's no rules against that. I'm not saying you can't do that. But I feel like a lot of these MOCs forget what era they're supposed to be in. But again, that doesn't matter. That's just me being like, but anyway, I like these fingers here. I've seen some other people use them, but like, these work very, very well here because it maintains. I like that it's a clash of old MOC techniques with new. I think that's cool. I think my only note would be to try to maybe swap the CCBS out with other parts, just because you gotta be like, again, we're talking about the CCBS thing again with like how less is more and all that. I think that if you are going to be using it for like your limbs, you should use it for all of your limbs to make it more consistent, or vice versa. So that would be like my only note, but this is really cool. Nice job in the Photoshop. And yeah, the jetpack is cool. Great use of those G2 Gali blades there. Those are good pieces. And by L, I don't know who L is. Not 11 from Stranger Things. But we have Roa. Makes use of some Hero Factory blades. And ooh, that's cool. It's a Baraki piece for the chest right there. I forgot that this torso came in dark green. That's good. That's really good. Good color scheme here. I like those spikes. I would just be careful with adding, like what I said earlier, like the armor kind of like, it in real life it's not called clipping, but like in 3D animation, there's this thing called clipping where if you animate something and something like kind of phases through something that's not supposed to, it's called clipping. This looks like it would clip a little bit. It's like a lot of protection right there. And I get it, you know, that's the sweet spot. You want to protect that area. But I would just say maybe move some of the armor around a little bit. But you know, I like this guy. The green eye stalk is good. That goes with kind of like the rest of them. But yeah, no. And we got Hikaru's by Slash. And he makes use of the red Kakama. This Kakama has gotten really expensive. I don't really know why. I know that in Minog, the Matanui online game, a lot of little Tahunga use it as like the basic go-to Kanohi. And in the movies, all the Matoran guards have the red Kakama. So I could see some people being like, yo, I'm gonna buy up all of them because I want to have a whole army of little Matoran guards that all look the same and whatnot. Yeah, luckily there is resin casting and stuff you can get as like a substitute. I have one official one of these and I have like 2 resin cast versions that look the exact same, so I hope I don't get them mixed up. And someone sent me a text. Oh, what? Ew. Okay, never mind. But yeah, okay, so This looks a lot more like a Hero Factory mock, I will say that. I'm not a huge fan of this neck connection. I've done this before as a young mock maker. I like this inclusion here. I actually like making use of minifigure weapons or Bionicle weapons, because even though obviously like they're meant for minifigures, like this is a big blade for a minifigure, but for a Bionicle, it's a little blade. So I think that works well. I think this works too. These little tooth kind of pieces at the legs, that's good. Yeah, I would maybe try to make use of some more bars and Technic pieces, but overall, like, hey, like, this is a nice mock man. And yeah, like I can tell, like, and it, you know, it's hard to make a mock when you don't have like access to a bunch of pieces. So I can tell like this guy has a lot of Hero Factory, he has a lot of G2, and I mean, like, work with what you got before you have to buy anything. Honestly, like, it's way better making a mock with the pieces that you have versus the pieces that you don't have. It boosts your creativity and it saves you money as well. So you don't need a custom for everything. You don't need to buy everything. You don't have to. Just make use of what you have, and I respect this guy for doing that. All right. By Cobb, we have Angalu, and Angalu has two forms here. One in their regular form, and then one in their disguise form. And I didn't even realize you had the squid there. That's cool. That's a cool little add-on. I would be, yeah. I know that there's limb pieces in Bionicle that have like a 90-degree angle, but like I'm not a huge fan of this here. I think it just really limits the posability on your figure. It is digital, so it doesn't really matter, but it's just something to look out for. But I really like almost like the Paraka style technique you have here with how the limb right here can bend like all the way back and whatnot. I think that's cool. I actually like the asymmetrical bit, and this eye piece incorporation was very creative and very cool. And it's funny because this is Nuju's mask, and Nuju gave his an eyepiece. This is on the other side, but like still like same thing. How does this move with the eyepiece? That's what I'm curious about. I guess you can't really tell. Okay, interesting. I wonder if you can actually like flip it back. But yeah. Yeah, it looks a lot more like a 2001 to 2003 mock, aside from the Av-Matoran torso, but I mean, still great work. And, oh, he's going fishing for those. That's funny. Or is it he or she? Yeah, she. And yeah, with Av-Matoran, just like a note, across the board, if they take up a disguise, they don't, if they are female, they don't have to be blue. I mean, obviously that would work a lot better for their disguise if they did choose blue. But yeah, I mean, like, you, again, the Av-Matoran can look however you want. Just all bets are off. Because I believe they're both male and female. But anyway. We got another one here. Okay, Mo Reru. Okay. I'm not going to say that again because I'm going to get it wrong. But this is by Braden. And, yeah, we only got one still. I like the Matoro mask with the Av-Matoran. I think that actually works well with the Av-Matoran. You got the Nuva shoulders again from that Takanuva technique. More of the jets at the bottom of the feet, the Metra feet. And I think this works, like this amount of CCBS with these type of arms like work well. Yeah, I would love to see what the jetpack looks like. Oh, it looks like you have a disc launcher at the top. That's pretty cool. But I mean, it's not really a note, but I guess like it's more of a question, like, do you have a jetpack on yours? If not, that's all good. But yeah, I mean, these could still do the job. I don't know what the lore is on that guy. Mechanic. Okay. Yeah. This is my entry for the contest. His name is Chaos as a weapon. His name is Chaos, and he's a weaponsmith in his village. by Blaze. This looks suspiciously a lot like Jala, but I mean, I'll ignore that. I like the use of the system panels. I think that's really creative and that's really cool. What I will say, my only note, I think doing this is redundant when you already have Lee's pieces. Just use another one of Lee's for that. It's going to look the same. You're going to save yourself some extra parts because these are getting expensive and you're going to want to use these for MOCs. So I would just suggest using this instead of that and just double down on this. But other than that, this looks very good. I really, really like the shin guards right here. These look really cool. I like the slopes. Those are awesome. But yeah, Jala's cousin, I guess. Yeah. And then that was by Blaze. Then Ender YouTube or YT. This is Vyra. He's a village guard. And oh, that's pretty cool. That Vakama mask has seen better days for sure. But yeah, we only have this one photo. I wonder like what the story of this one is here. I mean, because he almost looks a lot like a Shadow Matoran. So I don't know if that was the intent. Probably not. I like the use of the Hero Factory head right here. That works quite well as like an Av-Matoran substitute head, especially using that trans dark blue. That was a good one there. Yeah, good torso, using the tires. That's great. Yeah, no, this is a cool little guy. I just wish that we had more angles, but other than that, like, because I don't have any more angles, no more notes from me, I would just say be a little bit careful with the tires here. I would try maybe using one big one or getting rid of this one, just so then you don't warp the parts too much. But that's just me. That was me if I had to come up with a note on the spot, which I just did. So yeah, and we have Gravis by Borderlander. This makes use of, I forgot the Tan Vorox little guy name is head, but this looks cool. You can kind of see some eyes going here, a little mouth, or this could even be the eye. I don't know. But yeah, great color scheme, making really good use of those 2009 parts that blended in very, very well with early G1. Really, really great use of parts in your bin, just parts that you have around. I would maybe fill in a little bit more gaps right here and maybe on the chest, but other than that, I like his weapon. I think this guy's pretty cool. I'd like to see more photos of him. Okay, by Andrew Suvu. So this is Suvu, Andrew's little Matoran, making use of the parts that he has, so big respect there. And yeah, it looks like he's been eating good in the background. Got some water. Glad to know that you're healthy. That's awesome. But yeah, I know. So we got a lot of G2 and Hero Factory pieces right here. This one has a little bit of everything in it. The silver top mask was a good choice. Goes good with the pearl light gray blade here. My only suggestion to you, I maybe would have used another one of these for there, or maybe like maybe make two of these, like have them have dual wielding blades at the same time. You don't have to do that, but I think it's a little bit more consistent, especially with a little guy like this, to have like maybe two of these Solak blades or two of these big staffs. I think that would be fine. But yeah, no, nice job, man. All right, this is Novan, an Av-Matoran of Kanohi. So we got green and red, which is the Freddy Krueger color scheme. He looks really good. Again, he looks like he would be official a little bit if Lego wanted to do the green and red thing. Yeah, these Agori parts are fantastic in terms of like making an Av-Matoran mock. Are those bright red? Oh, okay, so he's got some orange there too. Interesting. Yeah, he's another mock that has a little bit of everything. I like that he has a shield and the sword. I actually did the same technique with this like Dekar knife thing, where I would put it at like the bottom of a hilt. But I don't really do that anymore unless if it's like a big sword. So my only note is just like learn from my mistakes. Learn from my mistakes, and maybe put a little smaller of a blade here, because I like this idea. I also like how this points up, so I would maybe put like, do like the Tahu Stars method, where you put a Nuva shoulder right at the bottom. Oh, hit my mic. Where you put like a Nuva shoulder like right at the bottom there. But no, he's a cool little guy. I like him. The other note would just be, again, I don't know if these are your spare parts, so I'm not gonna be a jerk about it. I would say maybe just make the color scheme a little bit more consistent, but I like this mask. It looks really good with the Av-Matoran head, so I would settle on dark red and dark green over green and dark orange. Or if you're not going to do that, then do dark green and orange. That's what I would suggest, because you can easily find dark red ones of these, or you can use the Photok limbs at the bottom here. But yeah, that's what I would say. And oh, I don't know how many we've done. How long have I? It's been 36 minutes. Holy shit. Oh, we're not even through December yet. This is okay. All right. We got Avon, and Avon looks a lot like a Chiraga. Lees do not exist in this color, but that's fine. I mean, I break rules like that too with my MOCs. I totally get it. I would maybe, my only note, beef him up a little bit more. Again here, like I would give you a pass for using CCBS here. I think this CCBS here would be way better than using these things than doing that, because it would just make the legs more unstable in real life. But other than that, that's what I would say. That's kind of like the main thing. And maybe use like a little bit longer of a piece here, just so on it's easier on the arm to move around. But I mean, if this is how you want to do it, till, you know, big respect to you, bro. That's all good. But yeah, that's what I gotta say. Oh, and this guy has like full on Photoshop. All right. BIONICLE Defender Boss K-Lore. And there's definitely some clipping going on here. These are Glatorian hands, so that's all good. Custom blades. So this uses a lot of custom pieces, and I think using custom pieces like this are fine because it doesn't change the build fundamentally. I have a problem with the clipping. I would suggest finding a different armor method, or maybe making different arms if you really want to use these pieces. Technically, most of these pieces don't even exist, so I can't like criticize you too much for it. But really nice job in the Photoshop, dude. Oh, and the feet are custom as well. I would say at this point, like I know you want to do like the blend between the Metro and the G1 foot, the original G1 foot. I would just say use a regular Mata foot. I think that would have been absolutely fine. That's like a little bit extra, but I liked how the way that these scrawl pieces connect. That was smart. That was good. I probably would have never thought of that. So that kudos to you, dude. So just keep applying thinking like this, and you're gonna notice a big difference. I mean, this still looks really cool. Like if you were just making this as like a 3D model for animation, perfectly serviceable, no problem with that. But if you're trying to use this as like a proof of concept for like your system idea, when I say system idea, I mean like making the thing in real life, obviously you're gonna have to think of something else. But yeah, I like the custom mask. That's the Duma mask, I believe, and that's probably by Galva. Galva's very epic. But yeah, using the regular jetpack, that's awesome. And you're using the leg extenders here to make them a little bit taller. Yeah, no, that's cool. Again, I like these blades. You can keep using customs, but I got stuff like this. I feel like we got to utilize our creativity a little bit more. But this one's still really cool. You should be proud of this one. Oh, okay, you got nice. I like how this looks like instructions. I know that these are screenshots from Studio that you Photoshop, but yeah, no, Studio is a fantastic program. Oh, is that the I see. I don't know if you made Lee's. I don't think you did, but whoever made Lee's, great job on this design here, because that is the Ignica Mask of Life. Ugh, like, yeah, no, that's cool. If you know, you know, and if you don't, then yeah. All right, we got this guy. I forgot his name, and his name is censored, so I'm sorry. I forgot your. I met you before. You're a nice guy. Yeah. Anyway, this guy's pretty cool. Again, he looks like someone that would be on Barra Magna. I like the use of this head here. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff here. This almost looks more like a Shadow Matoran or a Kra Matoran than Av-Matoran. That's really my only note. But I really like how you still make the jetpack work. I think that's a really good job. The claws work, classic, and yeah, these Baraki feet. They were on Baraki technically, so I'm not wrong. They're Liwa Fantoka feet technically, but those work really, really well. Nice job. I like this. And like, that's the other thing too, like you guys can kind of learn from this, is that like more parts doesn't mean better mock. You could still have something that looks perfectly fine with just using like a limited amount of pieces like this. Obviously it's cool having gap fillers and things like that, but sometimes people just go a little bit too over the top, where if you like move the mock like a slight bit, then it's gonna like fall apart and break over. But yeah, anyway, awesome fucking hammer on this. This is screaming G2 energy. Like the good G2 energy. Like, this looks really good. Great color scheme here with the gold. Oster builds Aurelius the Avenger. Ooh, there's some the deaths of his friends. Some of these guys have crazy lore. But yeah, great use of the stars pieces actually. And this is from AliExpress. This mask is from AliExpress, so you can go get it on AliExpress, or if you live in America or Canada, you can get it from a local vendor. Plenty of people sell them now. But yeah, my only note, you might be using too many Lees. I would make I think Lees on the side would work pretty well. I think you're kind of stretching a little bit with this piece here. I would just maybe swap it out with another gold piece, or maybe use some system to fill out the gaps here, some bars, something like that. Just because you're gonna, again, it's a sensitive area, so you definitely want to protect that. However, I feel like if you just, it just hangs a little bit too low. I'll say that. It's gonna like clash with the legs a little bit. It shouldn't, but it just hangs a little bit too low. But this is a really, oh, that's an awesome use of the Zamisphere gun. That's really fucking cool. Consistent color scheme. Well, color schemes, quick note about color schemes. I try to keep it down to like, ideally 3 colors when I design something. For Bionicle or for anything. 3 primary, I don't know, like think of like Batman, for instance. He has black, gray, and yellow. You know, like, think of Superman. Blue, red, yellow. You want to keep it to 3, but 4 is okay if it's like a little bonus accent thing, like this hammer with like the gunmetal, because it blends in well enough with the black, so it's fine. But the primary colors here are like black, medium blue, gold, so that all works quite well. So a little tip on color schemes there. All right, we got Rise Bells Tulu, and Tulu, I'm not gonna lie, did a really good job with this one. This one looks fucking cool. I saw this one and I was like, oh damn, I might have to enter the contest now, because people are locking in. Great use of the Karada right here, because that looks a lot like the Miramax films Matoran designs, where they have those little 6-packs, little abs. This is like a perfect translation of that. This is like a semi-illegal connection. It works though, but yeah, that's a little bit concerning. Like I don't have the mock physically, so I can't tell you if it works or doesn't work. But either way, that's a great use of making that piece work. Very creative with using connections that Lego didn't intend for you to use. So fantastic job with that. I like his weapon because he's like a little guy. He has one big fucking chainsaw, so it's awesome. He looks a little bit too G1-y, and when I say G1-y, I mean like early G1. I don't buy him as an Av-Matoran, but he looks like a fucking awesome Matoran build. What I will say, what you did fantastic with was the color scheme. You used like the Photok color scheme. That works very, very well. And he uses what I mentioned about the three to the max when it comes to like color schemes. I mean, obviously like Axles, you can't really do anything about Axles, but he uses orange, dark gray, and silver / light gray. Like when it comes to making a BIONICLE mock, I usually blend light gray and silver together when counting it as one color scheme, because you're not going to see like a whole big difference there. Like it blends in enough, but I would like to see these legs bend a little bit. I've seen a lot of people use this technique, but yeah, no, good job with the system for the arms. They look good. Kind of, again, gives me that Miramax kind of energy. You would have to use custom pieces, but I would have maybe liked to see these things like turn over like this, you know, kind of like what I did with my Matoran revamp. But yeah, no, I mean this one's cool, dude. The bar is like, that works. Like that's like an old technique that I've used a bunch of times, and I think this works here. Obviously, this depends on how new your pieces are, but you gotta be careful doing this because they could be very, very loose and they could flop around, but I'm pretty sure this one's not gonna flop around too much. But yeah, no, good job. And the edits were by Lewin. Yeah, epic win. All right, coffee made. I gotta be very careful when saying this one. Nezha. Okay. That sounds a little bit okay. I like the dark blue and lime green. I think that actually works quite well. That's some Holly Mari type of stuff. Works pretty good. Good blend of CCBS with the Av-Matoran pieces. I think the armor is a little bit much. I think maybe you could have chosen a different thing, but like I like that you use this though, because a lot of people forget that you can use this for your shoulder, and I think this would work very, very well in like a G2 style Toa or Hero Factory mock. But yeah, I like that you use this here, and like I noticed it just now, but I really like how this is like the shield arm. Like everything here is a shield. Then you have like your blade arm. That's very good. But yeah, interesting mask. That the kind of looks a little bit like Darth Vader a little bit. But yeah, no, he looks cool. All right, I gotta pee. Okay, I just went pee, so I look a little bit different. Like 5 minutes went by because I was also looking at my phone. Not at the same time, but yeah, anyway. All right, we have Tayo or Tayo, and yeah, making use of those little clip pieces there. I see him using those little clip pieces. I like the bow staff. I think that's pretty cool. I don't know if this works. I don't know enough about that. It doesn't. No, it doesn't work. That's a shame. That's kind of the downside of working with Studio, is that like it's hard to tell if a play function works. But yeah, this doesn't. This is just for show, which is fine. But yeah, good CCBS here. You can't make this in real life at all. I'm just really taking my time looking at this guy here. I would just say fill in some more of the gaps and improve on how this Metru limb connects to this ball thing. I think this is, you can come up with something better, I think, but this is still very cool. He actually looks like a bow Matoran a little bit. All right, this is by Bionicle Boyfriend. We got Hoku. Yeah, okay, we got Hoku here. Not using this is not a real head. This is not a real head. I wish this existed. I understand why you used it, but that is not a real head. And this is a good color scheme. I like the use of these pieces here. A lot of people have done that over the years, and it works pretty well. Yeah, it's another studio model with pieces that you can't make in real life. Yeah, oh, you include a little Tahunga variant. Good eyes here. Oh, yeah, like this, like you can't really do that. Again, like, if you're going for a 3D model, none of what I say matters here. But it looks a little bit impractical. But I like the color scheme. I think that works very well. Making use of the 4 different colors of the blue eyes, the pink armor and mask, the dark gray, and the white. And then, yeah, using the photok pieces, that works pretty well. Definitely way better than the Av-Matoran sets. I mean, just being able to bend the arms alone, it makes them a whole lot better as sets. But yeah, no, I like this. I like that you made it look official, or it gives that vibe of being official. Yeah, that's what I would say. Interesting color scheme, because I don't think other people... Oh yeah, it uses the trans color schemes. That's interesting. But by Burnout, we had Burnout on the most recent stream on the channel. And this is a Lumos. Looks pretty cool. Got some CCBS connections going on. And this is what I was saying earlier. If you're gonna go with CCBS, then you should use both CCBS. You can see even here, like their revamp of photok. I like this. I like these pieces on the Av-Matoran. I think it makes sense that they should have a little bit of armor with going into battle. And the CCBS blends in well with the Av-Matoran idea. And my only suggestion, based on what I have seen, is that I would maybe turn some of these around a little bit. Like not like turn this to the front and then turn that to the front too, but maybe like turn one to the front, or maybe turn this to the front, or something like that. Just so when, if you pose it at like different angles, when one side there's all gaps, then one side there's no gaps, I would do it so that like it shifts a little bit. So there might be one gap here that looks natural, and then you have this covered, then you, I don't know, move it over here or something, then you would, you know what I mean. I don't need to do the whole mime thing, but you know what I mean. I like these G2 swords. These work well with the Av-Matoran. I was debating on putting them on mine, but yeah, my guy's a little bit shorter, so I gave him some shorter weapons. But yeah, I like this. Again, making good use of the parts that you have in your life. And there's no gray on this one too, so I like that it's just down, straight to the point. 2 main colors, and then you got your accent color, and then you got your jetpack. If the jetpack came in like yellow or black or something, this would be rounded off very perfect with the color scheme. But even this, like the silver being a standout, that's fine. I wouldn't dock any points for that. All right, this is by K, and I don't know who K is, so I'm sorry. But they made a MOC called Potara. And Potara uses some custom pieces that you can't really 3D print. But this still looks really cool. I like the brown and yellow. I think that actually works pretty well. I like the blue eye stock here. That goes with like the Metro kind of vibe that I think you're going for. The Huna looks great. I like the visor on the Huna. I think that looks cool. Goes with the Fantoka vibe. Making use of a lot of early style Bionicle pieces. Again, more custom pieces here. Again, what I said earlier was like one of the early digital models that only uses custom pieces. I feel like you can achieve this look with the parts that we already have. Obviously, like the light brown is a hard color scheme, or a hard part color to find, because I ain't used light brown for that long. I still feel like you could maybe, make something work with the light brown with like either system or something like that, or like honestly, just use the Vaki pieces, because this looks almost the same to me. I would just say use the Vaki pieces, and then because it's an Av-Matoran, it's okay to use some gray, so you can just put some gray here, or you can use like the actual hand connecting pieces in light brown and put them here, then put like a Technic connector in between here just so you have them connect. Like, there's so many things that you can do. I think you're, in a way, you're almost limiting yourself by using these parts that don't exist. Again, that's not to poo-poo on the style, because I like this guy. Like, he looks really cool. Yep. But yeah, it's a cool little guy. They look pretty sick. I would just recommend using legitimate parts. But as a 3D model, it gets the job done. I like the Vaki. See, like, you got the Vaki connecting thing here, and I think you should experiment with legitimate parts. That's what I'll say. Coming from someone that only uses Studio, because I have no space in my room, and all my parts are locked away until I move. And then even when I move, I probably won't have access to them. Make use of the parts that you have, and try going from there. But this is still cool, though. Don't take it as me poo-pooing on it. I'm not. That's just my suggestion. Use real parts. I like the stars thing, but you got some clipping going on. Clipping! But yeah. All right, we got Uxbridge with Kuvan. Kuvan uses a primarily white color scheme. Oh, they used the Toa Metru torso. That's the first time we've seen that here. Like, keep their Zamaspheres in a little pod. That's kind of cool. I like this claw with the Matoran. Not Matoran. Oh, Matoran torso. I was thinking of, you know what I was thinking. I think that works quite well here. I like this. I think this works. I would maybe fill in some of these gaps. Like, I would, if there's a Technic connector or something, I'd have it connect here and then like point backwards there, and maybe connect a hose or something to hose through the back. Because you also have these holes here that you can fit hoses into. Well, that's like my main suggestion here. You took these photos in your bathroom, didn't you? I think so. I'm pretty sure it's a bathroom. But yeah, oh, they hang from the ceiling. Pretty cool. Hanging out with Solek. Oh, you can put the Zamaspheres on the back too. That's awesome. That's cool. But yeah, I would just fill in some of the gap there. Yeah, like, you got this empty socket. I would try to find another piece to sub that out with. Oh, that's a rare part. That part is expensive. You are very lucky to have that, because I have none of them. So yeah, no, nice work. By T. Helipian. Okay. Big ass drill. Holy shit. That looks like it weighs more than they do. But again, this is doing the CCBS thing that I mentioned earlier for burnout. I think this works a lot more than just having all of them flip to the same side. Again, up to you. It's your artistic choice. Do whatever you want. They got kind of a Takua thing going on with like a different colored mask with like different colored legs and different colored arms, and then a different colored torso. Echoing the same suggestion I made before, maybe just like try to minimize the color scheme just a little bit, especially since you're making these in studio, and I can tell some of these parts don't exist in real life. So I would just try to minimize the color scheme, but it's not a big deal. It's not. It looks cool. It works. Next up, we got Lux Nuva with Volo, a hotshot Av-Matoran, aspiring for Toa Hood. So did this guy just like, oh, he's a Matoran prototype. Holy. Yeah, an aspiring Toa indeed. Holy shit, this dude looks like he's stronger than Onua. Speaking of Onua, that is Onua's mask hidden in the torso. The Fantoka version of Onua. So the adaptive Picari, to be specific, if you want to get your Bionicle lore right 100%. This looks really cool. And it's making use of CCBS, G2, and G1. Everything's coming together. You got a classic. I wouldn't say classic. It's not. You got the Knights Kingdom stuff. And you have a really cool looking custom mask that lines up really well with the sand green here. And I really like how all these pieces like fit in together like it's a puzzle. That looks pretty cool. I don't know what posability is like too. Okay, you got a little bit of posability here. Yeah, I think these legs work. But I also do like that they're more lean legs versus like super crazy buff legs. I like how like this goes by that. It's almost like a Tahunga on steroids where the arms are longer and bigger than like the feet are or the legs are. It's just like that. I would say like if you can find posable legs, that would be the cherry on top for me. I don't know if CCBS would work here. I think it would throw off the build because I do like these spikes. See, that's kind of the downside here with these G1 pieces. They look great. You just can't bend them, so it's a little tough. But then on the bright side, it blends in with the set better. So there's that. This one looks cool. There's a very good chance that this thing's gonna win, by the way. Someone is playing music in the background, so I hope you guys can't hear that. This happens every time I try to record a video. Someone always plays music, and they never play music until I start recording a video. Who's this guy? Snorky. Okay. By Stub. Or Stub. Cool custom mask. Ooh, okay. This is all very compact, and I like this is upside down. That's interesting. Very cool jetpack. This almost looks like a transformer. And I mean that in a good way. Oh, that's another cool Av-Matoran you got there. Oh, okay, so this connection does work. So what I said earlier about that connection not working, forget about it. That thing works. I think now I have to go back, and I'm not going back. If it does work, then great. I'm sorry about that. I thought it didn't work, but I guess it does. I'm stupid. Oh my god, caught in 4K. But like, yeah. Anyway, this is a good mock. Things are a little bit tight here. It's like using a blend of Technic, like old Technic, and then modern. I say modern, but it was like almost 20 years ago. Quote unquote, more modern Bionicle parts to look more 2008. I think this works pretty well. These connect with rubber bands. I don't know if these are necessary, honestly. That's my only note. Yeah. Looks cool. We got Palu. And Palu is cute. She looks pretty sick. She's giving some Dalu vibes with the big blade and the short, cute little appearance. Got the scarf. That's always cool. I don't know how much. She doesn't really look like an Av-Matoran, but I mean, like, you got the gray and you got the primary color. Those are the main things that you need. I don't know the story of this one, but it's a very cute little Matoran mock, and I would like to see these legs bend a little bit. Because you're using that technique I talked about a while ago that Rizebell uses, where you connect the Hordika neck to like a Technic thing, but I can't really move, but I guess it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to, so it's fine. Yeah, the CCBS shell works here. It's kind of what I use for my Matoran build to emulate the gauntlet thing that they have from the movie, but I think it works pretty well here. Again, I like when Matoran mocks have longer arms and shorter legs. They just look more naturally like Matoran versus like an accurate human anatomy. That's what I'll say. Tuck, the drill sergeant. And, this one looks, I don't know. Oh, okay, you got him on the string. What the? People are texting. Yeah, oh, he's got two guns. That looks pretty cool. Well, I'll say right away, I would try... No, actually, never mind. I think the color scheme works pretty well. I was going to say the color scheme might be a little bit much. I think this works pretty well. I like how these legs connect. I like the armor on the lower leg piece and then the more bare upper leg. I think that works pretty well. I feel like there might be a better way to connect the arm here, but I'm not 100% sure. these might be too heavy for him to hold. Just like over time, if you have him in like this position, he's holding a gun. When I start going like this, if you know what I mean, it's gonna start going down and down and down. So just be careful about that. But he looks pretty cool. I maybe would have chose a different eye stock, like maybe like a lot like a neon green one, because it might go with the yellow more, but it also goes with the red, so that works too. But I feel like these blades, like they're kind of like bayonets on older style guns. But I feel like these are a little bit extra. I feel like they're not super necessary. Like I respect trying to fill in some more gaps, but I feel like maybe something smaller would have been more suitable. Like maybe like one of those Hero Factory blade antenna looking pieces would have been pretty good. But yeah, might be a little bit too much there. But he looks fucking sick. You should be proud of him. Looks cool. All right, we got Karuni. And Karuni uses a lot of Hero Factory and later Bionicle parts, G2, whatnot. Custom system here. The jetpack looks really, really sick. That's a big ass drill. What I said earlier of like the weapon being too heavy with the other mock, that might apply more so to this guy. But I mean, he looks cool. That's what I would say. I like that you're using the parts that you have. The highlight here is the jetpack. The jetpack is really, really great. I was thinking of something like this for mine, but this looks really, really fucking cool. So yeah, that's what I'll say. Nice work. We got Luma, another Av-Matoran here by P. And this is very similar to the one by Lux. I believe that was the other one's name. Got the eyes glowing there. I don't know if that's a special effect you have in Photoshop or like you illuminated the head or whatever in real life, but nice work with the eyes. It looks really, really good. Very subtle. But what I'm interested in here is like, does he fly through his hands? Oh, that's that's I do this connection sometimes. I don't like doing it. That one, I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't have done that, but I mean, it works nonetheless. Like IDS used to use it all the time and all that. I really like how it blends brighter and brighter. I thought these two were the same actually, but now I see that they're not. So that's really cool. You got the teal little Chestnut piece. And yeah, like this one breaks all the rules probably of what I mentioned before. But it looks fucking awesome. So this is proof that you don't need to follow the rules. You can just make whatever the fuck you want. As long as it looks cool, that's all that matters. He looks pretty cool. I like the white Matatu. Or, that's not Matatu, that's a Mahiki. I always get the Mahiki and Matatu mixed up because Matau sounds like Matatu. But then they gave the Matatu to Nuju. This is a Mahiki. So yeah, Bionicle. Blech. Av-Matoran Zelle, or yeah, Zelle, I think. I like the string use here. I think that works pretty well. Nice color scheme. I probably would have added in a little bit more white throughout, just when this part makes more sense. Like use some like white instead of like the black or the gray. If you set one of those two out and then use this, that would be really cool. But again, I like that this is clearly something you put together from your parts bin. That's what it's all about. And I like the hand claw thing. That's some Callan LOF looking hands. I like those. You can tell this little guy has been through a good amount here. She's got some lore. She hurt her right arm and left leg, so it got repaired. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Jake the Potato Lord. I've recognized this guy for a long time. He's been around for a long time. Way before I had Ignition Zone. Like I think I was following him on some account that I had back when, but like that never posted anything. But this one is Really, really sick. I like this a lot. Oh no, I lost my window. I like the cam parts here. The cam parts look cool. I probably would have filled this gap with something. You don't have to. You don't have to. Is this something that I would have done? I really like what this guy did with his chest here. Like that one. Using these system panels was very, very smart. The way that he blends in, he looks like a heavy. I like the feet. And the color scheme is consistent. Like it's black and gray with little bits of silver. But the silver blend in with the black. So it's really like black, green, and silver / gray. So that works here. You got the jetpack at the back. Can I see the jetpack? Yeah, that's a really cool jetpack. That's probably the best compact jetpack I've seen on here without it being totally huge. But some of the huge ones are really, really cool though that we've seen before. So that might be my favorite. This one's by General Dado and Av-Matoran. This person makes use of the parts that he has with him. Using those Hero Factory and G2 parts. And like I said earlier, like the G2 head works with the Av-Matoran. That's not a problem at all. Got some joints cracking. We've all been there. My only thing really is I need to see more. I like this. I like this. I probably would have made these black, but black ones are kind of hard to find. So red is okay. And honestly, the red kind of works as an accent, so that's okay. I probably would have added a little bit more to your jetpack. Like add a Technic piece here, but you might be limited on parts. I would maybe just like a little, I mean, obviously you can't improve this for the contest or anything, but I would maybe add some of those Fantoka fins at the back here to kind of go out if they fit. I don't know if they fit. They probably do. But yeah, that's what my suggestion for you would be if you have those spare parts on hand. And one more photo. Oh yeah. And yeah, fuck, I hate the cough. And I like the star's foot for the chest. I think that works. It honestly looks better as a chest part than it does as a foot. It's just too flat, but yeah. All right, we have Code-In, very suspiciously similar to Codan by Fritz MOCs. This one is really, really cool. I like how it flips upside down. You got the gap filling techniques here. You're checking off a lot of boxes. This looks really, really cool. Kind of similar notes I gave to Rise Bell. It looks a little bit too much like from earlier eras of Bionicle, in my opinion. That doesn't take away that this is a really fantastic Matoran MOC. Like, it looks really cool. The gray works really well with the brown and the tan. Those 2002 tubing work very, very well. These pieces here, these little handlebar pieces. And I think there's only one photo, so I can't see what the back looks like. The jetpack is upside down, but honestly, it suits the build. So you can just say the jetpack flies from this part right here. But yeah, I like how this could sell as a set. Like, with blending in what Lego does. If Lego one day was randomly like, hey, what if we applied some MOC techniques? I could see this being a real set. Especially from like that 2005 kind of period if they had this torso backline. 2005 or 2003. I do see you're using a Metru head here. I would like to see what it would look like with a non-01 Kanohi. And this is coming from someone whose favorite Kanohi, aside from the one in the thumbnail, or in my profile picture, but like the 2001 Kanohi are the best. They just are. I would like to see what a non-2001 Kanohi would look like on here. But again, that doesn't take away from your build. I think it looks very, very good. I like that there's not brown all over, because it doesn't clash with the gray. You just have like the feet and the head. I think that's a good blend. But yeah, I would just like to see this with like a non-2001 mask. It might suit the build more aside from the hands. I mean, like, it's kind of tough because you designed it around using these early 2000 parts here with the idea that it was going to be in 2008. So it's actually a good blend of the two. I just would have leaned more so into 2008 with this build, but this is still really, really cool. You should be proud for show. And also the same rise bell note. These things don't bend. I would just change that. But it looks very, very good. Very good. All right. Grin Bat MOCs. Zulak. Cool custom mask. Nice paint job. It goes in pretty well. With Lee's, I can tell that you hand painted this, so nice work on that. I like the use of the system here. Really, this is the first time I've really looked at this one. I would maybe beef up the arms a little bit more, but other than that, this one's really, really cool. Making use of the best parts of G2 and G1, putting it all together. Looks cool, dude. Okay, we've got Melos, and Melos made his look a lot more probably of how it would look in 2008 if you had Lee's parts and if they gave Matoran guns. I like the Tahu Fantoka mask homage thing here. I did something similar with mine, but yeah, like I could see this looking like selling as like a set, which is good because with MOCs, you either want things to look like how you wish the sets would look, or you want to make it look suspiciously like a set, but there's something a little different about it, like something that you wish the sets had as well, maybe on like a smaller level. I think this kind of scratches that itch. So nice work with all that. This is mostly a legal build. I don't think there's any illegal parts on here aside from like, obviously the mask, you know, custom masks are, I don't even count those as like illegal because you can just make those easily. But I don't think they have this head in like a yellow orange kind of thing. They have it in like neon orange, but it's not like a warm, lighter orange. But yeah. Nice work there. I would maybe fill in some of the gaps a little bit more. But other than that, again, like you're making it look like the set, so I can't say that you're doing anything wrong. I don't think you are. Okay, this is Papui Makariri. I hope I said that right. Because if I didn't, I'm not saying it again, so sorry about that. This looks a lot like a Chiraga. I think this would work a lot better as a Chiraga, but this is still a really cool build, though. Nice work with the arms. Good shell use from CCBS. You got the tires in there, which like that's hard to do in studio, so I don't know how you did that. Nice work with that. I like the jets at the feet. See the jetpack. A lot of these MOCs don't like showing what the back looks like. I guess like from the back you can use the jetpack traditionally, but then you can also use the jetpacks on the hands. So nice work with that. These little fins are going to be hard to replicate in real life, but if that's not the intent, then it doesn't matter. It does not matter. But yeah, no, this is cool. This looks like this would be perfect for a Chiraga torso. I gotta emphasize that a lot. It looks like a Chiraga torso, and I mean that in a good way. I kind of want to steal this and like apply it to. I have so many Chiraga variants, man. Like, I would like to add this to my collection, like General Grievous with lightsabers. But yeah, and then these hands are 100% custom as well. So, or the fingers specifically. If it's like a custom piece to like enhance like the digital posing, then I don't mind that. But I only take issue when you're using like custom limbs when you could easily just use actual Lego parts to make them. Yeah. That's just me. Oryuk. Looks really cool. Nice job with the color scheme. I like the small hints of gold with the white. Screams what the Av-Matoran are supposed to look like. I don't know how these connect. You did a great job with that. I'm pretty sure there's a bar that goes into the head. But I don't think that's how it works though. Gotta look at more. Maybe it is how it works. Yeah, I'm not sure, but good job on this one. This one looks almost like a Toa, but he still looks like he's ready for battle. He looks like he's ready to take on the Makuta. Nice work with that one. I like this weapon here, or this little, I think it's a bomb. Yeah, that one looks cool. Oh, I really like that. That's some fantastic detailing. This is the type of detailing I really like, where it might not do anything, but it just makes the mock look all like, yeah. That, I don't know if that's a legal connection or not. I mean, it doesn't really matter, honestly, because of the clipping thing here, but it's fine. I think this works pretty well. I think Lee's might be a little bit too much. I would maybe just shorten Lee's. Like, I know you're trying to like fill in this gap. I know what you're doing here. I would maybe try to find a different technique in the future, but I mean, this is like, if I made this mock, I'd be proud. So you should be proud regardless. And you're using that shoulder technique thing that I claimed probably doesn't work, but people are still using it. So yeah, it's funny. I know that that thing actually worked. I just always assume people were like clipping it. It just doesn't work in my brain, but that's good to know for the future. Especially for those that want to make like a low-key Av-Matoran mock, where you add some armor to it. Yeah, just like that. Yeah. That's cool. By Wet Melon, we got Gorak. Gorak looks like he's ready to murder me. I like the green and the orange, especially like the dark green and neon orange. I think that's good. Yeah, this one connects a little bit suspiciously, but I'll give it a pass for that. That's fine. I'm really looking at this one here. I would maybe work on the hands a little bit more because they're not really hands. I'm sure there's some lore or something behind this guy. I got a little string here. I don't know what that's for. But yeah, I would just, my only note would just be the hands. I would just be like, maybe work on the hands a little bit. Then we have this horrible one by this horrible human being. Fuck this guy. I hate this guy. He's fucking stupid. Poo poo. All right, next up we got Beggar Blue. Beggar Blue gives us a hunchy look at what an Av-Matoran could look like with the Matoran style of mask. This is probably from Omega's Kanohi Forge with the resin molding. This looks like this would be an official mask if it blended in more, but this is still like fantastic. I would want to own this for sure. Making use of CCBS. I think this works with the CCBS. I think that's all good. And it's interesting how you use the regular Av-Matoran broader torso and then put the gun on there instead. I think that's interesting. I would say put a bar right here with like some bushes, just so then this can like move a little bit more. I understand what you're doing. You're trying to do the Paraka thing. I feel like if you just did the bar thing, that's really the only note that I have for you. But yeah, no, I mean, like, it's a good minimalist mock, and the way that the head connects to the bottom is pretty easy to do. Like, it doesn't take much to figure it out, but this person actually did make instructions for that. If you are curious about that, you can join the Project Maui Rising server to look at it. And I like the ammo wheel. I think that's good. Yeah, no, I mean, like, even looking at this, I'm like, yeah, like, you don't need to do the bar and bush thing. You don't have to do that. If anything, it might make it redundant to do that. But yeah, I think this works. I think this works. I don't really know what notes I have for it other than maybe that. I mean, what I suggest, like, that's just to like try out. But I do like the idea of this being stiff and not being able to move at the same time. But yeah, not too much to say. The hunchy look might be a little bit too much, but I think it works. I think it works. It definitely makes it a lot more distinguishable. I like that you didn't use a whole lot of CCBS shells. I like that you only used like 4, because a lot of these other models will use like shells all over the place, but you used a limited amount, and these are Matoran at the end of the day, so they shouldn't be like too armored up. So I respect that. I think that works. Our next up, we got Ray's mock here. Elu. and Ray included 2 variants. We got how the Av-Matoran usually look, and then we have the disguise looking like a Matoran with the orange and such. Kind of same notes I had earlier for some of the other studio ones, where the custom parts, like I could see you making this mock without these pieces. There's definitely a way to get this look of what you want without using the custom parts. That being said, this looks really good. Like I'm not poo-pooing on these mocks. I have to say that every single time. Otherwise, some guy would be like, "This guy's poo-pooing on this person," and that's not true. But that's just what I would suggest. I would suggest like you can easily get this look with pre-existing parts, for sure. Like I would like if it was just the chest piece, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. That's something you can print and it connects with the Technic things. It doesn't like ruin your parts or anything. That's fine. List stuff, I'm like, all right, I think you can come up with a, I know you can do it. I know you can do it. I know you can come up with a really awesome arm design that goes with this style. I know you can do it. And I respect not wanting to use CCBS, but if you're not using CCBS, but if you're using straight up molds that are never made, whether they're knockoffs or official, you gotta like 3D print them to like wear down your official parts, I would just suggest maybe looking into that. But other than that, great job. Really nice Photoshop work. I like the TV CRT. Kind of, I think that's what those old TVs are called. I like the waves here. Looks like something you get from a hologram, an image like that. I like the little hammer. I would maybe make this, actually no, that's a good length. And I like the gun. I believe that's a gun. I like how the tubing kind of flows. It's good. Oh, it's a little flamethrower. That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, this one looks like it's straight out Warhammer by B. Goldion. Wonder why you use the name Goldion. This one's really, really cool. He doesn't really look like a Matoran, but who gives a fuck? He looks fucking awesome. Okay, I would try filling these in with some more gold pieces. There's a, you're doing the Hero Factory CCBS meme, or like the Matoran meme where like you turn them around and like you can see everything. My only thing is just fill this up. Just fill this up. I get it, you needed room for the big dragon thing. Just fill up the back and it's like perfect. Like this looks really, really cool. It's like a little like, I had like 2 of them as a kid. I had no idea what the brand was. It might have been Gundam or something, but there's like those little miniature like Gundam guys from like 2004, 3 or 5 or something. It reminds me of that. I really like this look. I don't know how much it suits an Av-Matoran, but it looks really, really cool. It looks awesome. Keep creating. Ignore my notes. Just keep creating. All right. By T, we got Mohidi. I feel like I've seen this name before. There's so many BIONICLE MOCs to keep track of. Whatever. This one keeps it more bare minimum in terms of like the Av-Matoran adjustments and all that. Nice camera work with the white backdrop. Not a lot of mock makers do that these days. I like the drill thing. That's a good use. I like using 2008 parts and 2008 MOCs. I know, crazy, right? But I'm not a crazy fan of this rubber band connection, but I do like how you made this dragon head work here. I think that's a blade attached to the other side. Yeah, or a tool. That's awesome. This jetpack looks fucking sick. Again, I would just try to find a better way to connect these bottom ones here. But that's what I would say. That's really the main thing. This is going to be a long video. Holy shit. Okay, we got Faro. And, yeah, he's using a lot of G2 parts. Like, the only G1 parts I see here, aside from the feet, aside from the hands, aside from the Solek thing, and the Nadiki, blah, blah, blah. I think this works with Av-Matoran. I think it works well with the Av-Matoran. I think it's fine. I would like, I mean, like, it's impossible, but I would like to see this with a dark red instead of a bright red, just so it suits 2008 a little bit more. But again, this guy is clearly making use of parts that he has. And look, he's a fine distinguished gentleman, or fine distinguishable gentleman. I like the blades on here. I think that's good. I would maybe add like fingers to it. I feel like if you're gonna give your mock the big gauntlet, I think if you have a huge gauntlet and like a smaller hand, it doesn't work as well. Even just adding like 2 fingers here, if you want to add a thumb, you can add a thumb here. That's really the only thing that I would say. In terms of just judging this as a mock, I would just say give yourself some more detailed hands, and that would be like the cherry on top. But yeah, no, nice work, dude. Nice work. That was Pharaoh, in case if I didn't say it. Got Maruks. Anyway. Looks very 2005. That's not a bad thing, by the way. I like this for the shoulder. I would, if you could, try to like make it go like that. Just make it go like this instead of just straight like that, because it makes sense more for armor. In terms of like looking at references for armor, just look at like, I don't know, like knights from like older times. But yeah, I want to see these legs. I can't really see the legs too well. That's too bad. But from what I can see, again, this reminds me of like a mock from back in the day. So nice work, dude. Making use of that Noric mask. It's an awesome mask. This one's awesome. Rotor. Pretty sure it's a Hero Factory name. With the Kanohi Pakari. I like this gun. It doesn't suit the era, but it looks cool. I think the CCBS works perfectly fine here with these Vaki limbs in gray. I like the foot adjustment thing here. This is good. I don't really have any notes, I don't think, because like this works well with what the creator is trying to do. I respect the Iron Man print here. Goes well with everything. He's giving the Paru vibes. I like all this. This is a really good mock. I don't think I have any notes for it. Like, okay, one thing, I don't think they are, but the arms do look a little bit limiting. I would maybe try to make them a little bit longer. If you just see what it looks like, it might look worse, honestly. But I'm like stretching for notes because I'm trying to give everybody notes. Again, just like for fun, take it or leave it type of notes. I'm not being like Gordon Ramsay, like, oh, I think this tastes like shit. No, I'm not doing that. I like all of these. Yeah, the arms just might be limited from the shells, but not a huge deal. That's going to happen when you make a Bionicle mock. There's always, like, if you use G1 parts, you're going to find that you're going to be limited in some portion one way or another. The Legend Rebuilt made Spectra, making use of a custom Huki and Nika mask. It's the Mask of Accuracy. I'm forgetting the name of it, as I am with most of the other 2006 Kanohi. This guy looks like he'd actually fit in probably a little bit better with Mari Nui, honestly. Like he would work very, very well with that 2007 lineup, making use of a little bit of CCBS, which is perfectly fine in my opinion. As long as the CCS blends in with the G1 parts, it's not a big deal to me. I know people are going to be like pooping their pants over that, but not a big deal for me. Yeah, pretty decent paint job on the mask here. You're using the Nuva star technique here. I like that you cap these off. I would add maybe some more to the jetpack area. Like, even if it's like a connector, like a double-sided connector, you can add some like flames or something through that. That's like a cherry on top type of note, but like, I think that would just a little bit more here. Because I don't think you should fill every single gap. I've said it like a million times already. I don't think you should fill every single gap in. But these look like gaps that want to be filled. That's what I would say with that. So even if they were just fins or something that spike outward, I think that would be fine. Yeah, that's my only note for you. By B Bio. Subaku. Sounds almost like, yeah. Okay. Studio mock. And, oh, okay. These feet would actually work. I was a little bit confused. I thought these were custom parts for a minute, but no, I see that these are actual parts. Nice work with that. I like the mask is a different color from the rest. I think, here's what I'll say with the weapons here. Like, my only, like, the only thing that's, like, glaring to me is, like, maybe you should sub out the weapons. I just think the Tahu Nuva blades, they're too distinguishable with Tahu, in my opinion. Like you can use the Liwa Nuva blades for pretty much almost anything. You can use the Pohatu Nuva claws for pretty much anything. The Tahu sword pieces are too hyper specific to just him. That doesn't mean that you can't use them in anything. Like, they would work very well as like shark fins or something like that. Like, you can definitely use them. Not saying you can't use them. I just don't know if they suit your guy here. And I think using the Barracks medium blue Tahu blade is a little bit too much here. It might just be a little bit too much. And I like the Lightstone idea with the bar thing. I think that's actually smart. I want to see more MOCs try to incorporate Heartstones. Oh, does this actually connect? Okay, I can't tell if that connects like behind the thing, because if that connects behind the thing, that's awesome. But I can't tell if that's just there just to be there. Okay, we've got Voltai by it. Yeah. Okay, I know what you're doing with the feet. I would say maybe just use Borak feet. I know, like, I like that. I actually like the gray with this here. If you are going to do system style feet, I would just add some more slopes. I know, like, these can kind of look like toes, or you can add some other, like, curved pieces at the bottom to simulate toes. But yeah, I like how he's broad and stubby. I think that's awesome. I think that's so cool. Not too much disapproval. Her friend, sorry, her, but like, yeah. I would maybe add some bar pieces here. I don't know how well those would work, but like, I think with the bar pieces, like with lists, just making sure that actually those are I don't have a Rockshi near me, so I can't check these parts, but I'm pretty sure that those are just like a right. Okay, never mind. Those are an axle hole. I would use a bar piece in that scenario, like a 3-length bar, add some bushes there. You'll be able to bend your arms. Pro gamer technique. It, depending on how used your bar piece is, it might be floppy for you, or how whatever parts are too used might be an issue. It shouldn't wear down your parts. If it's all the same Lego, then it should be fine. But yeah, this guy's really, really cool. This is like the Hero Factory limb piece that works very, very well with Av-Matoran. And he's got the hockey claw foot kind of thing on it. Looks awesome. I wish the limbs could bend, but I mean, if you're trying to go for a G1 style of mock, they don't have to bend. I don't know why this part is blurred out. I mean, I made this mistake in Photoshop. I think I know what he was trying to do. I do this all the time in YouTube thumbnails where I make the background blurry, then I try to highlight the guy. Just, yeah, I think that was a mistake, so I'll ignore that. Sorry for pointing that out. But he looks awesome as like a shadow Matoran. I really like, this is very sneaky, but great parts using this Tahunga foot right here. That's awesome. Yeah, I just wish the limbs could bend. That's my only note. That's my only note. It might ruin the look. I wish the limbs could bend. Oh, and you also got this sussy connection that I'm not a huge fan of. Like, again, it works. It's fine. Even I do it time to time. And this is honestly, I prefer people doing it this way where it's integrated versus just like, if there's too much weight on it, then you can break the part, but this isn't like putting too much stress on the piece, so it's okay. I know why you did it here. I would just maybe, yeah, I don't know about that. I'd maybe fill in this gap too. Again, not every single gap has to be filled, but I don't know what this looks like from the back, but I would try to fill that in, and that's really it. That's all I gotta say. And that was, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that, but like it's by Alti, so good job to Alti. Take a Brick has made Loomis or Lumi, if it's like a silent S, but this is Loomis. I'm gonna call him Loomis. I would make. I don't know if I'm a fan of this connection here. I think this is extremely limiting to what you can do here. And you made this in studio, so you can use like all the parts you want. You can even use like custom limb pieces like the other guys have been using. Yeah, I would just really work on those legs. I would just choose a different way that these things connect. Yeah, again, you can use like a Technic connector with an axle with some balls right here. And then you'd be able to like put your legs right here and then bend them forward and all that. If you're very dead set on using this piece, I guess this is the only way that you can do it. But even then, I would make him a little bit taller and then add something here to connect to the torso. That's what I would say. All right, we got Invader Naj. This one looks cool. You can't make this one in real life. It uses like a bunch of recolors we've never got. I don't want to say the word I don't like, but I don't like that you can't bend these. I think you should put some bar pieces here to make them bend. Because like it works here perfectly fine because you got the socket here, you got the ball right here, so you can plug the socket in, you can move that foot all you, or that leg all you want. You're not gonna be able to move these. I don't know if that was the intention, but that's extremely limiting for posability. I would like, especially if the leg being like that. And it's gonna make animating or just playing with your figure very, very hard. Again, if it's a 3D model, it doesn't really matter, but I'm not a huge fan of this and that. I know what you're trying to do, and I think there's an easy fix with that bar and bush thing, but that's what I would say. I like the dagger. I like that it's, yeah, I like the dagger. Oh, Ben 10 piece. Good use of that piece. I like how they look a little bit corrupted. Anyway, Navin. Okay, got Navin here. This is using the IDS method for Matoran here with making it look like a Mata torso. I think it works very, very well. I just use it a lot. Like I said earlier, I would probably try to find a different piece that connects to here. I'd fill in some more of these gaps in a little bit. The arms might be a little bit too long. Honestly, you might as well just cut out the middleman and just use this part or another Borak limb piece and put it here instead. Not gonna lie. But I like this. I like the color scheme. I think this person did a good job. Okay, Toa Norik with a Rukti and yeah, this one's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I probably would have chosen a different mask. That's really my main note. I respect all the choices made here. I like the jetpack. I like the armor. The armor is very, very good. I would, okay, two things. Chosen a different mask and chosen a different torso. That's the, like, those are the only two things. But no, I mean, like, I know this guy also updated his build. He submitted it like 1 or 2 minutes late, though, so it doesn't count, unfortunately. But he did improve a lot of this build with the second version that he did. So, now, be on the lookout for Toa Norik. Not Lee Toa Norik, but a Toa Norik on Discord. By K. I know this guy's account. I don't remember it though. So, how many entries are we? Oh, dude, this is gonna be such a. I kind of regret doing this video. It's way too long. Okay. I like these legs. They're very good. I like this lower torso thing. I like how this whole torso is custom. I like this bar connection here. This one's very, very good. I really like how this separates. Great job on that. And like the wheel putting, like, yeah, like this is a really great mock. It's okay that these gaps are open here because then it could conflict with like posability if you clog them up. If they exist, I would probably suggest using some like white balls here. But you know, like this is a really good mock when I don't really have any crazy notes to give it. But even then, like, I mean, like as long as this goes with the rest of the figure, then you don't need to do that. I would maybe just swap those with white, but you don't even have to do that. So this works pretty good. It's pretty good. It's probably gonna win. It's really good. I want to see more poses this guy can be in. Yeah, I like the gear blending in. You don't have to do this. This might make it look worse. I would probably make the torso more gray to suit the Av-Matoran. If I wanted to make it more like a, you know, blend in with the sets a little bit more, but you don't even have to do that. I think this works perfectly fine. So you're ignoring me. All right, this one just fucks, dude. This one fucks, and you can actually. He has a remote control Technic thing with it, so it can actually like move on its own. Now, I can't confirm or deny because I don't know. You're using actual English lettering on here, but it doesn't matter. It's fine. It's a mock. Who cares? This thing can actually move the remote. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on it. I'm pretty sure this guy just took an older mock and just slapped a Kanohi onto it. I'm pretty sure this thing was like a Cyclops before, but I mean, this is just so fucking funny. It's fucking awesome. I love the guns here. It's really cool. I don't know how lore accurate it is, but like it doesn't matter. It just looks cool. Ovario. I like these legs. These legs connect very well. Great use of the Technic parts here, and a good balance of CCBS and G1 parts. This is what I was saying earlier, where it's hard to make those things balance, but when you do balance them, they work pretty decently well. I probably would have just put some tires. It's hard to do this in studio, so it's not this guy's fault. I don't even know if he thought of it, but like I would have put some tires right here, kind of like what Oso does and IDS does and all that. That's the only thing I would have really done. Maybe, oh, add like a Heartstone right here. You got this little gap here. Put in a Technic pin that has a stud connector on it. Put a stud on there, and you got a Heartstone. And boom, bada bing, bada boom. I like these. I like that you use these parts here. I do that too. All right, next up we got Yehuda. Yehuda is a pretty cool mock. He uses a lot of purple. He looks a little bit, like I said, like 2001-y. With I know we all love the 2001 Kanohi. I don't know how well they work with CCBS, but this one's pretty freaking sick. He's got 2 disc launchers. I don't know if they suit the 2008 era. I don't think they do, but it doesn't matter because it looks fucking cool, so it's fine. 2 red. I gotta be very careful when I say this. Discs, right here and right here. Got the dagger. That looks awesome. Got him climbing. Yeah, I mean, like, you got a lot of Vakama energy here, and like with the 2008 Matoran, they pay homage to the Toa. So I would maybe have made this look a little bit more like Vakama rather than Onepu. But other than that, that's really the only real note I have. Okay. You got Volep. Volep does that same thing before that I've said that bugs me a lot, where people use custom parts that they can not use and just use real parts instead. That's really the only thing I have for this one. Other than that, I like the rest of this. Nice alternate color scheme. Great studio model. What were your lighting settings for this? Because like this looks really well lit. Way better at this than I am. I don't know if you use Photoshop or what, but like the lighting looks, this might have been in Blender actually for the lighting. The lighting looks really good. This is a studio render, but yeah, no, really good job in this render. That looks like a nice render. I like this. I like the scope thing, going with that classic engineering kind of aspect to it. Big flame. That thing's hot, but yeah, no, nice work. Car yacht. Okay. I know this is a digital mock, so I can't say shit. I just see a lot of balancing issues happening here. Just like it's gonna be a little bit difficult to balance, but it looks cool. The arm's gonna be heavy. I like that the arms are bigger. I like how the legs are slender. Like they slim towards the bottom, but then the arms get like bigger as they go down. I think that's really, really cool. Cool mask part choice, and I really like these Naparumari pieces for the chest here. I thought that was a really good move. You're using, I mean, like I've done this method before too, so I'm a hypocrite. I think there's another way to connect this other than using this bar piece, but it works. It works. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm yapping. Middle the maidenless. Oh, okay. Gio and yeah, okay. Gio looks pretty cool. I like how slim they are. I think this actually works of like survivors of the Av-Matoran. I would maybe make. Okay, the arms are good. I like the arms. I think if you're going for the very slender vibe like this, you've done it very, very well here. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of Lee's. I think I don't think you needed to do this. I think there was a way to do it with like these type of pieces or more fins or something. But this works, you know, like this is like, that's really the only thing I have to say about that. That's really the only thing. That's a whole lot of lore. This is why I'm not reading the lore. Otherwise, this would be 4 times as long. And Res Waveborn, the real Res Waveborn from Christian Faber's Rebel Nature. Kelos, this is definitely not a reverse thing for Solek. It looks pretty nice. I like the gold with the silver. It looks a little bit too much like Solek. I know that's what you were going for, but it looks a little bit too much like Solek. I'm sorry. And the custom torso works. I'm not sure how necessary it was. Oh, that's a big crack. I'm sorry about that. I'm not sure how necessary it was, just because, like, other than the detailing, I don't know, like, I think you maybe could have just used another, just like a regular Av-Matoran torso. I see you have a different head, too. I think that's a Mata head underneath there. Yeah, okay. Okay, I see why you made that torso. I just would have gotten a little bit more. I just would have changed things up a little bit more. Just go a little bit more crazy, but I mean, I respect it. Yeah, the Matoran / Borak foot works with this build. If only the Mata foot came in silver, that would be awesome, but it doesn't, or pearl like gray or whatever. And this works pretty well with what you were going for. And since you filled these gaps, I maybe would have done this for the front as well, or maybe the back of Lee's legs too. Just so it's all consistent. That's really the main thing that I would have to say. Rhea the Daredevil by anonymous person. I like this. I would have, okay, you're running out of black. I can see. I was about to say I would have just used black, but it looks like you're running out. I like how you made these work. These Metru pieces are awesome, and I think the color scheme works well enough. I would maybe, like, the only thing I do is try to find something to work with the back. You just don't want to, like, forget about the back too much. It works for your build and it works with that Av-Matoran style, but you just don't want to do the CCBS meme where your back's bare. So I don't know if you would like to do like a double-sided Metru armor or something like that, but I think they're just, you need to cover the front armor as much as you need to cover the back armor, just for posability and making it look like, you know, fancy and such. I like the golly hooks. I probably would have made these gray instead of black, like any. Yeah, I would have made these gray instead, but no, nice work, nice work. Okay, Matai the Watcher. This is a crazy mock. Again, looks very Tiraga-ish, but this is also like, I don't know, like I see a lot of reimaginings of Matoran. This looks like a Matoran that would live on the island of Mata Nui or Voya Nui. Again, don't know how much he reminds me of an Av-Matoran, But I don't even think that matters. I think like he just looks cool. And this is complicated. It might be a little bit too much, but it looks fucking sick. It goes with his vibe, so I can't even hate. I don't know how this... I don't know how you're bending that. Unless that's just the axle? I don't think so. It's just, it looks a little bit suspicious. I don't know. I feel like that's a bar in there, but I'm not 100% sure. But yes, if it is a bar, then extra posing. Then if not, then I don't know why it's at that angle. Unless I'm getting something wrong, which I might be. But anyway. Okay, we got Koze. And Koze makes an interesting use of that neck. I did not notice what is going on with that. Oh, okay, I see what you're doing. Okay. Because at first I was like, how the frick did you do that? But yeah. I like the color scheme. It's pretty consistent. I would try to fill in that gap right there. I noticed you got that branch covering it. I don't know if that was on purpose or not. I would try to like figure out something to fill that gap in a bit more. Just because it's a noticeable gap. Maybe put some studs here as well. But yeah, no, I mean, he looks like an Av-Matoran. Is that a Nuju head? Might be. Anyway. Got Deluce, the cave cutter. And the cave cutter looks like he can cut caves alright. So I like this. I would have maybe filled these in. I maybe have some hand pieces like those like bend in towards the torso. Just so when kind of all flows together. But no, nice job on the torso here. Just so I know you did it so you can connect the Metro head. Speaking of the Metro head, that's a really great use of that Huki Mari mask. I always love it when people fill this thing in here with something else that wasn't on the set. This is a good job of that. Nice work, bro. Okay. Lovitus using a Rao from Socket Ball, I assume. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of like how these weapons connect. But other than that, I mean, like he looks really, really cool. I would maybe fill these in with like some other Technic parts just because these stick out a little bit. Yeah, I would just like, I know like you have lists so you can connect your weapon, but I feel like there's definitely other ways of doing that. I would just work on the hands a little bit more. I like that they're slender, slim hands. Like that's cool. Like not a lot of people try doing that. I feel like there is a way to get what you want. That gives you a little bit more, so you can do this with your hand versus just being able to do this. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you could do something there to still get what you're going for versus that. But other than that, nice job. I like the gray with the dark red. Very 2008. Making use of those pieces that were not in a Bionicle set as far as I know that look like Krika. So nice. And this is by Construction Diva, otherwise known as Alex. This is a fucking awesome mock. I can't hate. It looks fucking cool. I just would have maybe, and this is a matter of like taste and like all that, and I've repeated this point probably 5 times. Just add an axle right here with balls, and like make these things sockets just so that you can get more movement out of the legs. That might ruin the look that you're trying to go for though. Like you're going for this. I said this with like a lot of the entries. It's kind of, it's not an issue, but like it's just something that a lot of people like doing because it's like the fan favorite era. But like a lot of people really love this 2001 to 2003 era. And combining it with the 2008 era, and I think it works. Like in 2006, I'm going to talk about 2006 during a 2008 video. 2006 was unique because everything before it was relevant within the story. Like you still had characters that were using their 2003 designs, like the Matoran. You still had the Turaga that had their 2001 designs as sets and all that. You were introducing the new sets in with the Paraka and whatnot. The Dark Hunters were involved that have like 2004 and 2005 parts. And yada yada yada. Like 2006, these 01 elements fit in with 2006. I don't know how well they fit in with 2008. That being said, this black and purple is really, really cool. And I like the eyes here. I wish we had more angles of your mock. But yeah, it's just, it's going to be hard to pose the legs. That's really the only thing. But I mean, by sacrificing the posability, you have some really awesome detail. So again, I can't hate. I can't hate. These pieces are fucking expensive. So you are very lucky that you have like 3 of these just thrown a mock. They came on the new Ijaga. And yeah, I love the mirror. The mirror is awesome. CCBS here. Some people aren't going to like that. I think this works perfectly fine here. I think this is fine. It blends in, tops everything off. This is a Bionicle. But yeah. Yeah, everything that you chose to do with this mock suits the mock. Again, I don't know how much it suits the era of 2008, but it suits the mock, and that's the main thing. And I like that you chose original weapons too. Like with mine, I just chose like the Dekar blades because I couldn't really think of any other blades to use. But I like that you use like they're not Baraki pincers. I don't think they're not, but I really like these parts, and I really like that you use them for these galley hook looking pieces. So nice job, nice job. Rat Mecha. This looks really sick. This looks really cool. I like the system here. I would just be a little bit careful here. I would try to blend the system in a little bit more with the Technic. That's the real note I have. I like the feet. Yeah, no, nice work here. Nice work here. It's got, is that like a monkey? Is he with a monkey? Oh, that's a fucking monkey if I've ever seen one. That's fucking awesome. Okay. Yeah. Avima by Parallel Hologram. Again, not sure how much of an Av-Matoran it looks like, but an Av-Matoran can technically look however you want. So I'm not judging it on that at this point anymore. Again, just be careful with the CCBS. Just with like a style clash, but people are probably going to see these arms and be like, not liking them. I actually like these. I don't know why. I don't know. Like I like it when Bionicles embrace the robotical feel, especially if they're supposed to be more withered, or worn down. There's something about it. I don't know. It like gives me a Christian Faber kind of vibe for some reason. Like it's something that we never really saw too much with the sets. Like we saw a little bit like the Chiraga or whatnot, but I think this is an underutilized design aspect for sure when making them mocks. Like don't be afraid to make them like more lean and all that. Like I like this guy. Got Cal and LOF, with Gurnuk. I made this little edit for him, and I made it for Oso as well. I made edits for all the people that I know who entered the contest. There's a lot of people I know that didn't enter the contest, but I had a template available, so it wasn't too much work on my end. I think this is a really good mock. I just don't think it really looks like an Av-Matoran. If this was like a Hero Factory mock, like 10 out of 10, like he did a fantastic job. It just gives me Hero Factory vibes way too much. Like, even if you had a Bionicle mask on there, it just looks too much like a Hero Factory mock. But he looks really, really cool. I like him. I like the color scheme you chose as well, with the silver and the yellow and the black. I think that's good. The red eyes are good too. But yeah, that's what I gotta say. We got Oso's Bigo. Yeah, did some more edits here. Fun doing this and that. Using that Hydraxon mask. That technically doesn't have a Kanohi name, by the way. And it looks cool. I almost thought he used CCBS here, but these are actually the knockoff version of the Katangu limbs that he connects with toe balls here. I like the jetpack. It's a longer jetpack here. Goes to the bottom. Fills in all of the gaps here. I wish I thought of these from the feet for my guy. I'm probably gonna steal, like, yoink this design. I like this. He looks like he's ready for battle. I don't really know of any notes I could really give. I like how this connects to the Heartstone. Yeah, it's tough. I like the weapon. I feel like this guy, I don't know. I would just say like nothing really about the build too much, like because you fill in all the gaps here without going like crazy overboard. You can maybe argue this might be a little bit overboard, but I think this works. It's just about like picking and choosing what works per model. But I would maybe choose like heavier weapons rather than like the long slender weapon. That's really the only thing. Maybe he had like 2 of them, then I'd be like a little bit different on it. I also like when guys just go like that. Like if he was more like taller and slender, I think this one staff would work quite well. And I think this already works very well. I like that the weapon looks like him. It's got the tubing, the silver, and all that. And then you got the blue there. That's interesting. But yeah, I would just say like, I would love to see alternate weapons for this guy. I also like the system use here of the little gun pieces. Smart parts usage. All right, we got Rack by Brockle. I love how this guy just has a 2-barrel shotgun. I thought about using these parts for my mock, but I couldn't find a good way to use them, so I'm happy that someone else used theirs. He's going by like the very basic Av-Matoran build, which again, like simple doesn't mean bad at all. Like I think if anything, some people should lean into the simplicity a lot more. I just would have maybe chose a different mask, like maybe this in like black or something. If I don't think this exists in black, but I would choose a black mask just to suit the limbs, or make this a black torso. Yeah, it's hard to say. Yeah, I would make this black. If you could have, I would have made it black, but I don't think you did because this is all parts from your bin. And I love that he has a 2-barrel shotgun. Again, I don't know how lore accurate that is, but I think that's it. He's like Elmer Fudd. That's so funny. That's awesome. Okay. Zekav, we're almost done, I swear. My voice is becoming gone. It's 8 o'clock. God damn it. Okay. This guy looks too much like a Toa. Right at the gate, he looks too much like a Toa. I'm sorry. He looks too much like a Toa. This is a connection that makes no sense. It looks cool. Again, it's a 3D model, so it's fine. He just looks too much like a Toa. Okay, I like that you used a different head from the others. I like how you've been, like, this looks like it would be a set. I think these blades are just a little bit too big. If you chose some more like slightly shorter blades. I know you chose these because they're not used a whole lot, and I respect that. I think these just would suit a taller mock, or if you had like him carrying one big one or like a staff or something, I think that would be fine because he has like one big heavy weapon goes like that with but he's got 2 very heavy blades, so it just looks heavy for him to carry. All right. Updated entry for Kimun. I like again, we got the Paraka technique going on. I like that torso. He added some nice detail for the torso. I probably would have used cam pieces instead of lists. Just me personally. I would have used cam pieces instead. They're kind of like these ones, but more thick. But this works. This is fine. Yeah. I'd maybe, I don't know how well this would look, but I would, oh, okay. I see you got another gap there too. I would have maybe made this like orange, or maybe add more orange throughout as well. But I do kind of like that the arms are just orange and the rest is like black and silver. I think that's fine. We're running out of time, so I'm speeding through. This, holy shit, he's fucking cool. I've done this technique before with the little claws at the bottom. I think that G2 set did this as well. I think those are cool. He looks more, again, he looks more like a Shadow Matoran, or like a reimagining of like a Tahunga almost, of like how stubby he is. But he looks really, really cool. I like him. Oh, okay, Hero Factory Mock's interesting. You've covered all the gaps. I think you've balanced the parts well enough. Just for the future, I would try balancing the parts a little bit more. Just because like Hero Factory Mocks have a different style from Bionicle. I'm not saying to like separate them, I'm not saying that, but like, because these could actually work well for like a Vaki, like a movie style Vaki. But yeah, I would just say that. I would just say like, There's too much early Bionicle with too much new Bionicle. And I think the blend should be more subtle. It shouldn't stick out. Like, I probably wouldn't choose this foot piece. I know it's trying to look like a shield. I can't really give you a substitute off the top of my head, but I feel like you could have done another part for that. But I actually like this. This is funny. It's cool. All right, we got Kaj Duck. Again, he looks like he'd be official. I like the longer arms here with these lime pieces. Nice custom mask here. You got the... That is a Paraka part. That works well. It's kind of hard for him to flip it out. Obviously, you would have to manually take it out and put it the other way if you wanted to hold it the other way. I don't even know if you can hold it the other way because this thing would contradict, but I think it works pretty well. I like that he has 2 jetpacks. Oh, that's another torso. There. Oh, wait, no. Okay, I see what you did. This is the main torso. Then it flows in, then you stuck the... Okay, that's actually pretty smart. I like this. And then you connected the Vaki part to this. Okay, I didn't even notice you used the Vaki part. I think this sticks out just a little bit too much. I actually think it's kind of funny. I think it works pretty well. This might stick out a little bit too much. Better than that. I like it. I like it. Okay. Again, doesn't really look like what I imagine the Av-Matoran would look like, but it doesn't fucking matter because he has a big ass fucking gun. That's so... Okay, I like the blue eyes, the dark blue eyes with the red. I think that's a good contrast between, like, if you're making a Matoran. I know that's not like the classic. Oh, and I like the toe kind of technique you did here. The bendable fingers are cool. Again, just very 01. Like, I could tell you loved 01. And that's A-okay. Dude. Okay, I just had dinner, so a glass of wine later, plus some more, we will make it through the rest of this list. So, I'm pretty sure, I mean, like, for you guys, that was like a microsecond in between, but yeah, okay, I went over this guy, I said my piece. That's funny, that's awesome, but okay. Master of Air has Bula, and Bula reminds me of Sebulba from Phantom Menace. I think that's pretty funny. Not a, like the rubber band thing, I'm not a fan of that connection. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna tell you a lie. I'm not a big fan of that connection. I like the mock. I like how creative it gets. The Nika blade is funny. It's awesome. It's sad it isn't connecting to the Ben 10 hands, but it doesn't matter. He's holding it anyway. The Zamisphere in the chest is awesome. But yeah. I like how different this one got. It's just I don't like the rubber band thing. I know I was gonna give like notes to like improve mocks, but I mean like... Yeah, I just don't like the rubber band connection. But respect for changing it up. Okay, we're getting down to the wire. Virtual Tro is this mock's name. And again, these don't bend. They don't bend. The color scheme is good. I like the green silver, very Nadiki, very Matao Hordiko like. That's an interesting arm connection. I think it works for the mock. I think it works. How do these shoulders work? Oh, okay, all right. I like that, yeah. I don't know if you need to use this part for this. I feel like if you bent this the other way, you could sub this out for one of these instead and save yourself that part, and you can use that part for another thing if you like. But if you're going to dismantle this mock right away, doesn't matter. That's all good. It looks a little bit too much like Matao. But again, like all these Av-Matoran, the official ones anyway, all of them resemble a Toa counterpart of some sort. So this could just be the one that resembles Matao. That's fine. Okay. This one's interesting. Like you got like, it's mainly older G1 parts. When I say older G1, I mean 01 to like 04 parts, a little bit 05 here. And then you got a little bit of G2, and then you got like, yeah, a little CCBS and all that. There's a little bit of everything in here. I feel like this one was taking the idea from Lariska, from one of the few Duck Bricks contest entries for that one. I've never, okay, I'm going to be talking about Lariska. This is also using a red Kakama, which is interesting. You don't really see a whole, we saw one earlier that had the same mask. That's kind of funny. And that's more of a rare mask. So that's why I'm pointing it out. Fun fact, I've never seen this is not an offense to anyone that has ever made a certain mock of this. I have never seen a Lariska mock that scratches my itch. I think she is one of the most difficult characters to design ever in Bionicle. If I were to have a contest for any Bionicle character, it would probably be Lariska, because even I, who is in love with the Metru era, like the Mangai era and all that, I can't land on a design that I think works for her. Even if maybe I have to like draw her up first before I make a mock of her, but like she's like probably the most difficult character to design. And it's really unfortunate because she's actually kind of really important, like in terms of like the grand scheme of things. And I believe that she's Greg's favorite character or something like that. But yeah, no. Yeah, okay, so I see that you got the bar piece in there. Add the bush to it, like I was saying with some of the other ones. Should be good. I know that you have this so it can bend. So I respect you doing that. I think you should also do that for this side, because otherwise you can only bend one side then. Yeah, like, I don't know, because like you can tell that like these are replacement limbs. Like this guy wasn't damaged and he had to like get some new parts. So he's experiencing phantom pain. Yeah. I was going to edit this video like hardcore, but then I realized how long it was going to be. So I'm not going to go do crazy editing. You're just going to have to work with my voice and maybe background music if I feel like putting background music in there, but it's already a long video, so you don't care about that. So you have these phantom limbs here. This can bend easier than this one. I think you should just make this one bend just like that one. I like that this one lines up with the past arm. I think having it different yet a similar structure is a good balance. So you don't have like one very heavy or very light arm, so decent balancing there. And you got some Gali blades, Gali Nuva blades that work well with the red, you know, like, I mean, Norik broke that template, so hey, I mean, respect to Norik, man. All right, and this is the last one. This is oh yeah, Lord Feyroth. Okay, I almost forgot your name. I realized how close I was to being done. If only that like finished up right before I went to have dinner, then this would have been completely fine. This would have been cohesive, extremely cohesive. Yeah, so instead of a jetpack, he gave him a big ass rocket. I respect the change. I like that it changes things up. I just don't know, like, if this fits the Matoran universe too much. Like you could argue that maybe it might fit Barra Magna, maybe, because Barra Magna has more relations or correlations with Earth than the Matoran universe. Barra Magna, they at least have like, you know, they kind of have more wheels and things like that, a little bit more like things that like the Matoran universe doesn't have. But this is like a straight up rocket. Respect for using system, by the way. Yeah, I like the basket piece. I didn't even realize I used the basket piece there. I don't know if that's like 100% legal. Again, like, it's a 3D models, and if this were to win, this would be an animated 3D model anyway. So like the legal or illegal stuff doesn't really matter. But I do kind of like incorporate it like a little bit when judging. That's just what I do. But yeah, I like the color scheme. I like the teal and the white. That's a good choice there. I like the wheels. Good classic gap filling, as we've mentioned before. The studs for highlighting is awesome. And this mask, fun fact, is from a private joust / contest that Project Mount Nui Rising had. So this was designed by one of the team members, and it perfectly blends in the Mount Nui Rising logo right in there. So whoever designed that Kanohi, congrats. I don't remember if this was from the joust, but I know this is like the PM&R mask. I know that for sure. But yeah, so actually like getting into like judging it, like I don't think the chest blends in too well with that armor patch. I think it lifts too much. I think if you want to have it, like I would lower it by maybe 1 layer just so it blends in a little bit more. You can't see my hand gestures because the camera cuts me off, but that's my suggestion there for that. I like the shoulder pads. I think those are awesome. CCBS works well. Got some gray in there, so still maintaining some of that original Av-Matoran essence. I think it is a lighter gray low. Yeah, it looks to be. And let's see if there's anything else I have to say about it. I like the fingers being on the inside of the palm. I usually do the outside, but I think these work quite well. Especially when they're like Matoran, because if they were like Toa, having the fingers on the outside to form a fist would make a lot more sense. But with them forming a fist like that makes sense more so for a Matoran, because if they punch, then it's only like a little arrow thing and not like a full fist, if you know what I mean. Anywho, I just think that like when you have the fingers on the outside, they can turn into these gaps here a little bit more. But again, it doesn't really, it's not changing my opinion on the MOC. Like it would be the same either way. That's like an irrelevant kind of piece of information. But yeah, no, this one does a good job with filling in as many gaps as possible. Respect. Again, like these feet, I've talked about before with other models on this list. Like at this point, just use an official foot because it's based off the Mata foot. I know it's trying to be quirky, it's trying to be cool. By trying to blend in the Metru foot, just use a regular Bionicle foot at this point. It's not gonna make or break your build. I like that it does blend in the black with the white, so it maintains the whole color scheme all across. But I think by having that tire there, it already does that job. So yeah, that's what I gotta say. That's pretty much the whole thing here. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. I did not expect it to be this long. There were 3 takes of lists that I'm gonna have to render all together, and that's gonna be lovely. But if you want to see me do this again, let me know. I will definitely do this for the next contest, whichever contest that will be. I'm gonna pretend not to know what the next contest is, but anyway, that's all from me for today. I'll catch you in the next video.